Well folks, a very good morning to you. Welcome to Breton Ferry, Cottney Kayaker here on the River Derwent. I've been asked by a few people if I could do a bit more of an in-depth tour of my little Shetland 535. People have been asking about, why I bought the boat, what I've done to it, why I've done it, etc, etc. So that's what I intend to do today. So I'm going to get cracked on because it's a lovely morning. I want to have a bimble up towards Pocklington, that sort of way. So let's start on the outside of the boat, shall we? So, when I purchased this boat, it was, a nice boat. I'd done a lot of research once I decided that I was going to go for a Shetland 535. And what I found was there was a lot of basket cases out there. So, whilst there's a lot for sale, there was, I found it quite difficult to find one that, I could kind of work with. I knew whatever I was going to buy wouldn't be perfect for me, but I wanted to try to find one that was as perfect as possible, should that make sense. So when I bought this boat, it was in really good condition. The canopy come with the boat. The paintwork was in quite good condition. There was some chips here and there to the gel coat. And the one thing that I didn't really like about this boat was these windows. What someone's done is they've bought oversized windows and bonded it to the outside of the fiberglass. Now I can see the reason why they've done that. If this boat was to go into the sea and you've got waves kind of crashing up against the windows, the chances are the windows ain't going to come through in the same way as they're likely to with rubber. But I don't like these, and I'm convinced that they are leaking as well. I think that this is constantly pulling this way, which makes it weak along the top here. And I've done some testing at home, and they definitely do allow some water in. I don't like that at all. So it was always my plan to change these windows, to put rubber inserts in and buy new windows, because these ones are quite scratched. This little navigation light, this sort of white light on the front, original to the boat, useless. It allows a lot of condensation in, and I'll lose my earth. So it only works temporarily, so that's going to be changed. The other thing that I didn't really like with this boat was this skylight here. The camera's probably not going to pick it up, but it's quite nasty. It doesn't leak, and I've put new rubbers on the inside, but I don't like it. I don't like, if you can see around the back there, it's kind of held on here with wooden dowlings. It's shocking really, but I mean, it does work. It's functionable and it's dry. But some think that I'm going to replace for like smoke glass, same as the windows, the next time the boat's out the water. I put new navigation lights on, green on the starboard and red one on the port side. And as I say, this canopy was, I've got the receipt for this, actually come from Shetland. Very, very expensive, brilliant bit of kit. Keeps it bone dry inside, no matter how heavy the rain falls, it is bone dry inside. The wind rain, lovely. And coming to the back end of the boat, when I purchased this boat, it did have a 2-stroke 40 horsepower Yamaha engine, and it was, I purchased this boat on the understanding that it was for spares or repair. I did have a guy look at it, and the engine was shot. It was beyond economical repair. and because it was a 2-stroke, I couldn't be, you know, it's a bit sort of old and smelly, so I bit the bullet and had this new Tohatsu 4-stroke engine fitted. Not cheap, but you know, worth every penny. All the steering cables and controls are obviously brand new as well. Now that's a 15 horsepower, and some people have said to me, oh, it's going to be a bit underpowered. Believe me, for the kind of boating that I do, it's definitely not underpowered. I've been out on the tidal ooze a few times, and you know, we all know, anybody's been out there knows how ferocious that can be. And you know, this engine, no problem at all. It's not powerful enough really to punch the tide. I can't punch the tide. I go with a flow. So if I go up to Neyburn, I go on a high tide, spend a few hours there, wait for the tide to turn and come back on the ebb, and literally just it's on tick over at about 6-7 knots, and literally burn no fuel at all. As soon as you start punching the tide, you know, you're going to put stress on an engine, and you are going to burn lots and lots of fuel. So this is fuel injection, so it's literally get in, prime it and start it just like a car, no problem at all. And this little 4 horsepower auxiliary engine, tiller controlled, of course, that came with the boat. A friend of mine, Craig, he's serviced that for me, and yeah, it's in good working order, just a little backup. The other thing that I bought was new mooring ropes. Just got them off Amazon, cheap as chips, good ropes, nice and strong. And that's pretty much the outside of the boat. So I guess really it's the inside where I've done the majority of the work, and it's probably where the majority of the expenses come, bar the engine, of course. So let's start in the cabin area. So this cabin area was, I mean, all these cushions, they're fire retardant cushions, they all come with the boat. But what I did do is I, in the same way as people do with camper vans and that sort of thing, underneath this stretchy carpet, it's all insulated, and the insulation runs all the way down to below these seats, and then I've just put this 4-way stretch carpet on. Makes it far more of a comfortable area to be in. I mean, I sleep on this boat quite a lot, and you know, just with a sleeping bag, it's lovely and warm. I have got a diesel heater, but I haven't fitted it yet, and I'm not sure the logistics of doing that. It's something that I need to take some advice on, but I do have one because I do intend to use this boat in the winter. So as I say, all these cushions came with it. They're all fire retardant, very important. These cushions here are really good condition. All I've done is they got a bit baggy, so we sort of took the staples out and stretched them a little bit, and give them a good clean, and they're fine. And this is brand new carpet that I've had laid on here. I actually had a result with this carpet, because this tiny little bit of carpet here come to about £60, but it's really hard wearing, and this was a bit an offcut that a guy at the local shop to where I live had normally used for people up in entrance areas up in London and foyers, that sort of thing. So yeah, very expensive for what it is, but proper hard wearing, should last a lifetime apparently. On this side I've got my cabin lights. I've got one there, carbon monoxide, and a smoke alarm over there. A fire blanket, and this is my little control panel for USB, all my navigation lights, cabin lights, 12 volt thing there, chargers and torches. And I just made this little cabinet. I couldn't actually find a little cabinet just to go on this wall, and this has got sort of stuff, coffees, teas, soap, whiskey, of course, very important, and Again, all the wires are behind these panels that come off and well hidden. I think it looks quite tidy actually. It's my little rack for all my notes, etc. What's that? That's my license for the boat. And all this is on the tidal ooze, bits and pieces, really important. It can be a bit dodgy. So this is the storage. So storage here, you know, it's where I keep my sleeping bags and bits and pieces, stuff like that, warm coats. And we have another one here, which again is just cleaning products and bits and pieces there. So quite a bit of storage actually on these little boats. Right, so this section here is where I keep my 2 batteries. I've got the engine battery and I've got a auxiliary, is it called an auxiliary battery? Sorry, a leisure battery. Now I paid quite a lot of money for my leisure battery. I'll try to show you that if I can, but it's a really good leisure battery, and I'm still running on 12 volts, so don't really use much juice at all. And in this one area I've got my my fuel tank, so let's try to take a closer look at that. Ooh. So this drops down. There's my bilge pump back there, and here's my tank. Now I've got another tank coming which will sit just this side, so if I'm going for a long distance, because these are only 12 litre tanks, and I didn't want to get a bigger tank because it's getting it in and out of this little area here. But what I can do is, you know, if I'm especially on the Ouse or the Trent, I can maybe just drop anchor if I run out of fuel and just literally undo this, quick release, and put it onto the other tank, and I'm off again. Over in the back there I've got a little jerry can, 10 litre jerry can full of fuel, and here's my keys, winders for the lock. Right, so in this compartment I've got my leisure battery just there. I've got the battery for the engine, and I've got my water container there. Craig plumbed that in for me, so I think it's a little 10 litre water container, which I can open this one-handed, not easy. There's my little that's where the water comes out of there, so I can wash my hands and stuff like that. So, and transom area is a bit full of water. I've had a lot of rain here really in the last 24 or 48 hours, so I've got my little pump there, bilge pump. I'll get rid of that before I set off. Now I've got these 2 seats, and these are brilliant. I mean, I can sort of sit there and do a bit of fishing there, and they're really hard wearing, easy to clean. I mean, I think they were £70 for the pair. Yeah, you can't complain. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So internally there's not a lot I want to do to this boat. I think most of the work that I've got to do is, like I said before, is going to be on the outside. However, there are a few things that I want to change. As I swing the camera around, here's like the kind of what I can see when I'm bimbling along. So I've got my MPH here, and this also tells me how many miles I've done. And I'm not sure that this is very accurate, because it reads completely different to Google. My running light switch, my horn, USB and bilge pump switch, and that's the part that connects to the satellites to give me my miles per hour, etc. And there's my little flip down clock, very handy that actually. and the radio is for when one of us is opening the lock and the other one's in the boat. So this sort of section here around this door and this bit down here, I kind of liken it a little bit to a, you know, this sort of white painted section around here. I kind of liken it a little bit to a firewall on a vehicle. I'm thinking about having that a wrap put on there. I've spoken to a guy who says he could do a wrap for me, be totally waterproof, and should look $1 million. I can have any design that I want. So that's something that I'm considering. And also I'm going to have a carpenter get a piece of ply and cut round here so it drops down vertically there, allowing a bit of storage in there. And then I'm going to carpet that as well, and it will just cover all that in that side, and to do exactly the same this side, so it will drop down and it will pretty much cover all these kind of wires, and I think that'll look quite smart. Also on this boat I have LED lights, 1, 2, 3, and another one there, 4, and there's a little switch there, so when I come in at night I can just switch that on. And I've also got this solar right there, which is brilliant. As soon as I come up to the boat at night, drunk or not, that comes on and I can see what I'm doing. And of course my little vent there. By and large, you know, I'm happy with the boat. It's you know, it's a nice looking boat, but there's I've got this new stainless bow rail to go on the front, which I'll be doing, the new skylight to go on, and the new windows on the front, and that's pretty much it. The actual inside of this boat is completed. Can't see that I need to do any more work in there, and just maybe, you know, a bit of ply down that side, a bit of ply here, maybe some wrapping on that firewall section, you know, and that finish that off really nicely. If there's anything that you think I should get that I've not spoken about or don't have that would be beneficial, both practically and cosmetically, please let me know in the comments below. I love my kayaking. I've still got all my kayaking equipment. I've still got all my 4 or 5 kayaks at home. Kayaking is something that I will always do, and this is not a substitute for kayaking, and never will be. It's just that this can offer me a lot more than what kayaking can, and my kayak can offer me stuff that this boat can't. So you know, I kind of feel at the minute I've got the best of both worlds potentially. It's just that, as some of you know, I've got a shoulder injury that don't seem to be healing, and paddling is just impossible for me really. Just an update regarding the radio, my VHF radio course. I'm doing that on the 3rd of August at York Marina. Just thanks to Mickey there, who's been giving me loads of advice, and that he's the guy running the course. Seems a really nice lad. I'm dreading doing the windows. If anybody has done windows on a boat and I would welcome you coming down and doing it for me or helping me. So please get in touch if that's something that you can do, because I am proper dreading doing that job. So I think that's about it. I'm going to have a cup of coffee, and then I'm on my own today. I'm going to have a bimble up the canal. It's a beautiful morning. I'm going to have a little bimble, get some fresh air, and enjoy the nature that this River Derwent has to offer. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe and hit that bell notification thingy majig. And until the next time, safe and happy boating.